When I was 24, I took on pet-sitting jobs to help cover rent while finishing my graduate program at the University of Oregon. One of my regular clients was a retired couple, Ron and Linda Patterson, who lived in the hills just outside Eugene. They were sweet people who adored their 3 dogs, 2 elderly retrievers and a jittery little dachshund named Pepper. I'd house-sat for them twice before without incident, and they paid generously, so I never hesitated when they asked me to stay for 10 days while they went on a cruise to Alaska. The Pattersons had a modest 2-story home with a large backyard, surrounded by woods on 3 sides. They'd recently renovated the upstairs, but the lower floor, where the laundry room and guest bedroom were located, still felt like it hadn't been touched since the 80s. They left me a long list of instructions, from feeding schedules to thermostat settings, and mentioned they'd have no cell service during parts of their trip. If anything urgent came up, they said to call their neighbor, Cheryl, who lived down the hill. The first few nights were uneventful. I settled into the guest room downstairs, attended my classes during the day, and spent my evenings with the dogs. The retrievers were mellow and slept a lot, but Pepper followed me everywhere, always trembling and staring at shadows. I chalked it up to her anxious temperament. One night, about 4 days into the job, my boyfriend Jason came over with takeout. He'd visited the Pattersons' place before and knew I always felt a little uneasy there, especially downstairs. We ate in the kitchen, took the dogs out, and ended up watching a movie on the couch. Around 11:30 p.m., Jason stood up suddenly and said, "I think I'm gonna head out." "You sure?" "It's late," I said. "Yeah, just..." He hesitated. "I got this weird feeling. I don't know. I think I should sleep at my place tonight." "Why?" I asked, frowning. "You've stayed here before." He glanced toward the dark hallway that led to the stairs. "I can't explain it. The house just feels off tonight, like something's watching." I laughed nervously. "Well, Pepper's always watching. That counts, right?" Jason smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Seriously, babe, if you want to come with me, I wouldn't mind." I shook my head. "I'll be fine. I have a paper due in the morning anyway. Go, I'll see you tomorrow." He left reluctantly, and I double-checked all the locks before heading downstairs. The dogs came with me, all except Pepper. She stopped at the top of the stairs, whining, and refused to come down. I had to carry her in one arm while holding my laptop in the other. That night, I couldn't sleep. It wasn't the usual creaks and house-settling noises. It was something else. I kept hearing soft clicks and a faint scratching sound. I turned off the fan to listen more clearly, but the noise stopped. Thinking maybe one of the dogs had wandered off, I opened my door. All 3 were lying in front of it. Still, something didn't feel right. I closed the door and tried to sleep. But at 2:17 a.m., I saw a strip of bright light bleed in under the door, coming from the laundry room directly across from my room. I sat up fast, heart pounding. I hadn't used that room all day. I grabbed my phone, turned on the flashlight, and crept to the door. The hallway was empty. The dogs stayed behind, watching me. The laundry room light was still on. I forced myself to step in. The room smelled faintly of detergent and something else. Something stale, like old rainwater. I reached up and flipped the light switch off. As I turned to leave, the light turned itself back on. I froze. My hand still hovered near the switch. No breeze, no timer. Just a sudden, sharp click and bright overhead glow. I turned it off again and bolted back to my room. That night, I slept with the lamp on and all 3 dogs curled up beside me. The next morning, I told Jason what happened. "You need to get out of that house," he said. "I can't," I sighed. "They're paying me too well. I'll just sleep upstairs tonight. It's probably a faulty switch." "You said it smelled like rainwater?" "Yeah. Why?" He paused. "Just Be careful. That house gives me the creeps. I moved to the upstairs master bedroom that night. It was cozier, quieter, and better lit. I convinced myself it had all been nerves and faulty wiring. For a couple of nights, nothing strange happened. Then, on the 7th night, just as I was finishing dinner, Pepper began barking at the back door. She barked like I'd never heard before. Sharp, panicked, almost angry. The retrievers stayed silent, which was weirder than the barking. I looked outside. The motion light had clicked on. The backyard was empty. I opened the door cautiously. Pepper dashed out, still barking, but stopped abruptly at the edge of the porch, tail low, staring into the woods. I called her back, but she refused to budge. That's when I heard it, faint and distant. A cry, not a dog, not a person, something in between, like someone imitating a baby's wail with the cadence just slightly off. I grabbed Pepper, ran inside, and locked the door. That night, it happened again. But worse. I'd brought the dogs into the upstairs room with me. Around 3 a.m., I awoke to Pepper growling low in her throat, facing the hallway. Then the retrievers sat up too, ears pricked. I held my breath. Footsteps. Slow, heavy, coming up from the basement. I wanted to believe it was my imagination, but the dogs heard it too. Then came a dragging sound, like something soft being pulled across the floor. It stopped outside the bedroom door. I didn't move, didn't speak. The doorknob rattled. I called Jason in a whisper, hands trembling, and begged him to come over. When he arrived 10 minutes later, the dogs had all retreated under the bed, and the hallway was silent again. We searched the house. Nothing. Everything locked. Nothing out of place. But when Jason opened the laundry room door, he paused. "What is it?" I asked. He pointed. There were muddy footprints on the tile. Bare feet. Too large to be mine. Too fresh to be old. We left that night. I stayed at Jason's place for the rest of the week. I only returned once a day to feed the dogs and clean up. I didn't care if the Pattersons noticed the dogs were being walked less than usual. When they returned, I handed them the keys, thanked them, and told them I wouldn't be available next time. I never went back. I still have dreams about that hallway, about that dragging sound. I don't know what I heard, or what tried to open that door, but something lived in that house, and I think Pepper always knew. Before we dive into the next story, if you're here for the first time, please consider subscribing to our channel and clicking the bell icon so you won't miss any of our upcoming stories. Your support truly encourages us and helps this channel continue to grow. And don't forget to share these stories with your friends and family. Thank you.